Droids have always been prominent figures throughout the entire Star Wars saga, right from the first moment we met the iconic R2 and C-3PO duo that we came to know and love back in 1977. Throughout the years we've had loads of different droids in various Star Wars projects, some of which are loved by the fanbase for being funny, heroic and undoubtedly badass, and some are, well, how'd I put this nicely? Absolute piles of shit. Yep, I'm specifically looking at you, Skippy the Droid. Luckily, today I'm looking at canon droids only, so Skippy can go back to the trash compactor where it belongs. Everybody is likely to have their own favourite droid, depending on what you grew up with or what makes you laugh the most. So today I'll be running through my personal top 5 droids of the Star Wars saga. And as always, you're welcome to disagree with my list, I just couldn't give a shit if you do have a problem with it. Right, let's get on with it. Number 5. BB-8s. Kicking off the list in 5th place is the lovable little doughball droid companion from the sequel trilogy, whose personality and antics made up some of the better moments of what was a somewhat rocky trilogy of films. BB-8's design is something which was completely new to Star Wars audiences, and it was refreshing to see a completely new and original type of astromech droid that satisfied and captivated audience like R2 did. Despite being undeniably brave and courageous, BB-8 was often childlike, which often made BB-8's loyal companion and master, Poe Dameron, sometimes wonder whether BB-8 was daydreaming and had an imagination of its own, allowing BB-8 to mould a unique personality, completely distinguished from the other droids in the series, for audiences to fall in love with. BB-8 has some awesome equipment and features at its disposal too, including an arc welder, a holoprojector, grappling lines used to save both itself and others on multiple occasions, and of course the iconic thumbs up lighter, which featured in one of the standout scenes of The Force Awakens. Let us not forget that this little white football was a droid who single-handedly hot-wired and drove a damaged AT-ST to allow Finn and Rose to escape the First Order in The Last Jedi. One of the better moments in a film which was, interesting, to say the least. Who am I kidding? It was fucking garbage. Number 4. Chopper. In the Star Wars universe, we've come across plenty of droids who have an attitude problem. Some droids in particular have way too much of an attitude that they start to become borderline annoying. This isn't the case for Chopper. Chopper appears in practically every episode of Star Wars Rebels, as well as crossing over into live action to make an appearance in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and he is a fantastic source of entertainment and light-hearted humour. Chopper is renowned for complaining and making sarcastic comments throughout the show, so much so that he can sometimes come across as lazy, but that couldn't be further away from the truth. Strip away the white and orange exterior, and somewhere in there you'll find a really loyal astromech droid who would do anything to keep his friends safe, including giving people much needed getaways, stunning enemies to save the day, and of course the heartwarming moment of him helping a newly blind Kanan navigate his way around Malachor by holding his hand. What a great couple. Let us not forget that it was Chopper who was also there for Hera after Kanan's devastating death in Star Wars Rebels Season 4, just as he was during Hera's childhood as Hera struggled with her estranged father, whose focus and attention was shifted from his family to the liberation of his homeworld from the Empire. Combine these attributes with other cool features of Chopper's like his rocket booster and electroshock prod, and you have one badass, funny and pretty loving droid that will certainly have a place amongst my own ragtag space team. Also, Chopper's designation is C110P, which when written down effectively spells out chop, and I think we can all agree that that is a stroke of pure genius.
Captain to security! I've got the rebel on level 2! It's a droid!
On our way, sir.
You must be cross-wired to come after me with this. No!
I can't believe what you just did. Now we're both going to be in trouble.
Number 3. C-3PO. C-3PO is a droid who can never be omitted from a droid countdown, and rightly so. He was there alongside R2 when it all began aboard the Tantive 4 back in 1977, and has played a somewhat vital role in the countless Star Wars adventures to date. When the Star Wars universe is full of random space Care Bears and big ugly killer lizards, amongst other weird and wonderful Lucas-inspired creations, it's important to have a trusty protocol droid on hand to link the species' interaction together on screen, without the use of subtitles, but instead through the medium of a skeptical and worry-prone protocol droid. Despite a noticeable lack of courage and worrisome personality, C-3PO is a loyal servant throughout the saga, and plays a key role in some of the major events throughout both the films and the TV shows. It's through C-3PO's godlike conception and his communication that the Rebels and Endor are able to recruit the Ewoks' help, without which, who knows whether the Death Star shield would have ever been destroyed. In addition to C-3PO's polite and loyal nature, when united with his partner in crime R2-D2, C-3PO comes up with some witty, funny and memorable lines which are indebted into the mind of most Star Wars fans worldwide, whether you're a fan of C-3PO or not. That being said, C-3PO may be fluent in over 6 million forms of communication, but maths might not be his strong point. C-3PO tells Han that the odds for successfully navigating an asteroid field are 3,720 to 1. Yet I've watched The Empire Strikes Back about 100 times, and the ragtag group of rebels make it through every darn time. Maybe read a book, C-3PO. Jeez. Despite his emotional memory wipe in The Rise of Skywalker meaning sweet fuck all in terms of a goodbye of the character, due to R2 restoring his memory when they get back to base, it was a cool moment in an up and down film, which goes to show just how much he's valued as a friend and as a character. It's hard to imagine anybody else playing C-3PO than the legendary Anthony Daniels, who has put in multiple wicked performances over the years. So much so that they decided to mould the iconic Oscar award after this infamous gold-plated droid. What a lovely touch.
You know the odds better than any of us. Do we have a choice?
If this mission fails, it was all for nothing. All we've done, all this time.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Number 2. K2SO. The sarcastic and incredibly cynical K2SO has the luxury of being the droid companion in one of the best Star Wars films ever made, that being the incredible Star Wars adventure of Rogue One. Despite being an Imperial model of droid, K2 was a loyal friend of Cassian Andor ever since he was reprogrammed to aid the rebellion at Cassian's side. In what seems to be a staple of Star Wars droids, K2 had minor errors and glitches in his programming that allowed him to stray away from the emotionless state of his KX model to form a unique personality consisting of dry humour and extreme levels of sarcasm. The latter of which even resulted in K2 refusing orders, which he sometimes saw as counterproductive. Despite K2 providing much needed moments of humour in what was a dark, gritty and hard-hitting Star Wars film, he also proved his valour when he heroically sacrificed himself on Scarif to allow Jyn and Cassian to steal the Death Star plans. Without his vital and emotional sacrifice, who knows what the shape of the galaxy would be in now, without the plans of the Death Star getting back to the rebellion and providing the spearhead to the Battle of Yavin. Alan Tudyk put in a stellar voice acting performance as K2, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that can't wait to see him reprise a role as K2 in the Cassian and K2 spin-off show in the future on Disney+. Despite not quite clinching the gold medal of my list, K2 takes the biscuit for being the funniest droid companion, as well as being one of the most underappreciated and the complete mechanical characters in the saga, with a story and depth that rivals that of many characters with more films and screen time, despite being a fucking droid. K2SO. The real MVP of the Star Wars saga.
Climb! Climb! You can still send the plans to the fleet. If they open the shield gate, you can broadcast from the tower. Locking the vault door now. Goodbye.
Number 1. R2-D2. There was only ever going to be one droid to top this list, and it should come as no surprise that droid is the one and only R2-D2. This lovable R2 astromech droid was a fan favourite from the get-go, and still continues to be one of the most universally loved Star Wars characters to date, despite taking an unfortunate backseat for the large part of the sequel trilogy. Star Wars audiences around the world fell in love with this quirky little astromech due to his courage, humorous beeps and quips, as well as a sheer amount of heroism shown in abundance in multiple key moments in galactic history. R2 first comes onto the scene in A Phantom Menace, where he saves Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Anakin and Padme, amongst many others due to his heroic repair of the Naboo Royal Starship's shield generator. He continued to be a close friend and companion to Anakin throughout the Clone Wars, showing his prowess in combat throughout the war as well, such as single-handedly rinsing the traitorous R3 droid in one of the most badass ways possible. He even went as far to sacrifice himself for the greater good, during the selfless act of protecting the Republic Conference in the Qadira system by causing the Rhydonium to explode prematurely, saving countless lives and seemingly ending his own, until he was recovered and repaired by his devoted friend Anakin Skywalker. Other notable feats include fucking over a few super battle droids, successfully escorting the Death Star plans to the Rebel Alliance that so many rebels laid down their lives to obtain, as well as being entrusted with part of the map to find Luke Skywalker decades later. A rather astonishing list of achievements for one little astromech to be able to achieve. I'll still forever be annoyed that we never got to see Brent Friedman's R2 and Captain Rex Clone Wars arc, and it's a huge shame that R2 didn't get the screen time he deserved in the sequel trilogy, with the creators opting to introduce various new droids instead. but let that take nothing away from the fact that R2's bravery and adventures are second to none, with no other droids coming close to matching his accolades or impact which he had on me growing up. R2 was able to become a beloved character in the Star Wars universe without the use of any dialogue at all, allowing his heroic actions to do the talking for him. To me, he will always be the best droid that Star Wars has to offer, and he thoroughly deserves the #1 spot on my list. Congratulations on the gold medal, R2. You've certainly earned it.
You stupid little astro droid.
Be sure to let me know what you think of my top 5 down below, and if I wasn't complete enough to donut in my list, or was I right on the money? I doubt you'll agree with me, but who knows. Also, feel free to leave your suggestions down below on other top 10 or top 5 countdowns which you'd like to see me do in the future. But that's all from me for now, so I hope you all have a wicked day, and may the Force be with you. Always.